You didn't go like that. How dare you not do that?
I did.
What's up, interwebs? Welcome to Storytime Podcast. I'm Tim.
I'm Adam.
And Adam decided not to point his finger at me.
I gave you the...
You did not give it to me.
The signal happened.
You went like, and then you dropped it like the beach ball, death had appeared.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, you did.
Anyway.
Anyway, welcome to the Storytime Podcast. This is where we go through one of my old first drafts of a novel. Adam reads a chapter, and then we discuss it afterwards. This is season 2, and we're going through my second novel I ever wrote, Marks of Eilira, Strangers from Another World. This was the first book of, at that time, was supposed to be an 8-book series. If you want to know more about it, go look at the prologue episode, the introduction episode of this podcast.
The first episode.
The prologue episode of this.
It's the first episode.
It's totally a prologue. Why won't you call it a prologue?
Because it's not.
No, you're supposed to say no one reads the prologue.
No one reads it. And it's a video, so no one would be able to read it anyway.
Exactly. Go read there. We talk more about the background of the story there. But right now, we are now on chapter 13. The third chapter or the fourth chapter of finally being in the fantasy world.
Yeah.
So we'll get to the reading, and then we'll come back. But before we get there, we got some things we got to take care of. If you go on to enjoy this episode, we'd love it if you'd go on and smash that like button and do it as a prayer to the holy algorithm.
The holy algorithm.
And subscribe, because I got writing content on this channel. And then if you're interested in some terrible gameplay, go check out Adam's channel. Adam?
ZOP Gaming. We are the kings at being mid.
You're terrible.
We play long games and we have fun hanging out together.
Yes, you do.
It really is a group of friends just gaming together.
And you're all terrible, except for the guy who plays Red Dead Redemption.
I wouldn't say that.
Though he's starting to get a little bad.
Yeah,
He's starting to get a little bad. But he started out great. But far better than the guy who played God of War in Tomb Raider.
He's getting better.
Yeah, so. But, okay, with that's taken care of, we'll get to the reading of chapter 13, and we'll be back to discuss it afterwards.
13. The Bathhouse. Now with their bellies full, it was time to clean themselves, so they did not stink. So they backtracked the steps back to the bathhouse. Within moments of leaving the tavern, they were standing back outside the bathhouse. It was quickly getting dark, and Zach and Ryan knew they were going to want to get to bed early tonight with a long way to travel in the morning. To waste no time, they walked over to the door, pushed it open, and walked in. Inside, a man stood behind a table wearing a very fancy royal green tunic and had a silver receding hairline and a silvery beard. Not sure what to do, they slowly approached the man. "How can I help you?" said the fancy tunic man, looking at them. We would like a bath," said Ryan. "We be sharing a bath?" asked the man. "No," said Zach. "Please do not shout," said the man with the fancy tunic. "This is a place where people come to relax, and shouting prevents people from relaxing." "Sorry," said Zach. We would both like separate baths." "How long would you?" asked the man with the fancy tunic, showing no real interest other than to get the information needed to get them moving on their way. "How long can we stay?" asked Ryan. "The longer you stay, the more it costs," said the man with the fancy tunic. "Well, duh," said Zach. "We're not stupid. We want to know how long is the longest." "The longest is 2 hours, and it will cost you 4 AN, said the man with the fancy tunic, smiling as if knowing they would not be able to pay for it. "That's it," said Zach. 4 AN for one of us, so 8 altogether?" We can pay that," said Ryan. We both would like 2 baths for 2 hours. "What?" said the man with the fancy tunic. "You can't possibly afford that. And it is 4 AN for both of you." "Oh," said Zach. "Well, then, yeah, we can definitely afford that." The man was not sure what to think. He was sure that they had no money, and his face gave it away that he did not believe them. After a few moments of not speaking, he pulled himself together. "Okay," said the man with the fancy tunic. "Normally, you would pay after the bath, but I'm going to have to insist you pay ahead of time." "That's fine," said Ryan, pulling out the bag of jewels and opening it, pulling out 4 purple jewels and placing them on the table. "There you go." The man with the fancy tunic was shocked that they were able to pull out 4 AN. Wondering how much they had in the pouch, He pulled himself together and took the money and placed it in a bag. He motioned them to follow him, and they did. They walked through the building and turned every so often until they came to an empty room with 2 big tubs. "You can leave your clothes behind the change curtain in the corner," said the man with the fancy tunic. "Once you're in the tub, you can pull the string and the water will pour into the tub. Once you pull the string, your time begins." "Thanks," said Zach. He took the bag of jewels from Ryan and pulled out a yee and gave it to him. "You most likely don't deserve this after being so rude, but for some strange reason, I am feeling nice." "Thank you, sir," said the man with the fancy tunic, before turning and walking back the way he came, closing the door behind him. "So," said Ryan, "which one do you want?" "Doesn't matter to me," said Zach as he walked towards the curtain and started to remove his tunic. Ryan followed him, and they quickly were undressed except for their boxers. They kept them on until they got into the tub. Once they were ready, they got into their tubs and were not sure how the hot water would be, so they decided to pull the string first. Zach walked over to the closest to the door and walked to the side of the tub where the string was and gave it a big tug. Surprisingly, the string was easy to pull, as that panel in the ceiling moved, and as soon as it was out of the way, the water began to pour. The water came down like Niagara Falls into the big wooden tub and began to fill it up. Seeing this, Ryan gave his string a pull, and the same thing happened. Within moments, the tubs were about full, but they were not sure how to get the water to stop. Not wanting the water to overflow, Ryan pulled his string again and nothing happened. Zach gave it a try and the water stopped. Not sure why it did not work, he tried again and the water continued to come down. "What do I do?" asked Ryan. "I don't know," said Zach. At that moment, the water stopped pouring from the ceiling and the panel moved back over the hole. "I guess they already know how much water it needs to fill the tub," said Ryan. "I guess so," said Zach as he removed his boxers and threw them back towards the curtain before jumping into the tub. The water shot up into the air and came down with a giant swishing sound. The splash caused the water to move violently around, spilling over the tops of the tub onto the floor. "Zach," said Ryan, "you made a mess." "So?" said Zach as he surfaced and positioned his back against the top of the tub. "We paid for this bath. As you see how full they get, they most likely always overflow when you get in. You should get in. It feels good." Ryan did not waste any time and dropped his shorts and threw them like Zach and jumped in, with a similar effect that Zach had, but less water spilled over the edges of the tub. When he resurfaced, he moved so his back was to the bottom end of the tub, facing Zach. The tubs had seats in them so you could sit down and enjoy the warm water. All the aches, sores, and pains felt so good with hot water. For a long time, they both just sat in the hot water and let their bodies relax from the hurts. After a while, Zach reached up and pulled the string again, and the panel opened and more water came pouring in, causing the water to overflow onto the floor. They both saw that there were drains near the tubs so that any water that spilled over the edges could go down them and be gone. Within a few minutes, Zach pulled the string again, forgetting that the water stopped on its own. So he pulled it twice, and the water stopped, and the panel returned to its normal spot. "Zach," said Ryan, looking at him funny, "why did you waste all that water?" "It was getting cold, and I wanted it hot again," said Zach. "We paid for 2 hours. Do you really think they expect us to pay for that long and bathe in cold water?" "No," said Ryan, realizing it was obvious when you thought about it. Again, there was silence. It was not long before the roaring sound of the water poured into Ryan's tub to reheat his bath. Zach just laughed because the panel was right over Ryan and the water came right down onto him, forcing him under the water. Water sprayed everywhere and Ryan pushed off, got out from under the downpour and resurfaced. Zach was laughing so hard he could not breathe. Ryan was not happy, but realized how funny it was and joined in. After several minutes of laughing, they both stopped. "So, what do you think our parents will do when we show up after being gone for so long?" asked Ryan. "I don't," said Zach. "I didn't think about it. I'll most likely just tell my mom I need some time away, so I left." "What's she gonna do, ground me?" "Even if she does, I won't listen." "You know, Zach," said Ryan, "I'm sick of how you treat your mom. She does all she can for you, and all you do is yell at her for no reason. Act like she doesn't love you. You need to start showing her respect. She is all you have." "Why should I show her respect?" asked Zach. "All she does is yell at me for not doing anything. If she would show me some respect, I would show her." It always starts with you, said Ryan. If you started to listen to what she asks, I bet she would listen and not yell at you all the time. When you disagree, don't just say you're going to do whatever you want. Why don't you just let me worry about my mom, said Zach. You can worry about your parents. You know, you're going to have to tell your parents why you were gone for so long. I know, said Ryan. I plan on telling them the truth. You do realize that they will have you committed to an insane asylum if you tell them the truth, said Zach. You're probably right, said Ryan. Maybe I'll just leave out going to another world. Violet was kidnapped, so it was possible to just say we were all kidnapped. I guess, said Zach. The two stopped talking and were silent for the rest of the time they were in the bathhouse. After 2 hours, their water in the tubs automatically began to drain. Seeing how fast the water went, they both got out of their tubs, walked over to the curtain, and changed back into their clothes. Just as they walked out from behind the curtain, the man with the fancy tunic walked into the room. I see you enjoyed your bath, he asked. Yes, said Ryan, very, very much. That's good, said the man with the fancy tunic. Well, it will be 4 a.m. What? Said Zach. We already paid. I know, said the man with the fancy tunic. That was just the down payment, and it cost 8 for the two of you. I only said 4 because I did not think you could pay it. No, said Ryan. You said it was only 4 for the both of us. Since we paid you already, we're not going to pay you any more. Listen, you little brats, said the man with the fancy tunic. I know you have more money in that pouch, and you're just going to have to give it to me. If you don't, a royal guard is only 3 doors down, and I'll tell him you stole it from me. You can go off to jail, and I'll get the money anyway. I'll tell you what, said Zach. If you can beat me in a sword battle, I'll give it to you. I have a better idea, said the man with the fancy tunic. Since you don't have a sword, I'll just draw my sword and kill you. The man with the fancy tunic pulled a sword from behind his back, drew it, and pointed it at Zach and Ryan. He lunged towards them and swung the sword, and both of them jumped to the other side. The man with the fancy tunic went after Zach and swung several times. After a few attacks, Zach realized that he had no real skill, and if he had, he could summon the sword of DeMarcus's again or disarm him. They would have even playing fields. Ryan must have read Zach's mind because he came up from behind him, and as Zach was on the other side of the tub, he threw himself into the back of the man with the fancy tunic. He lost his balance and fell into the tub. Zach grabbed the string and pulled it down as hot water came pouring down on top of him. The man with the fancy tunic let go of the sword, and Zach ran over to it and picked it up. As the man with the fancy tunic stood up in the tub, he turned only to have the sword pointed at his neck. Just at that moment, the door opened, and in walked a young girl with 2 guards. What's going on here? Shouted one of the guards. They attacked me and stole my pouch of money, shouted the man with the fancy tunic. Liar, said Ryan. He tried to rob us since we were just kids and have a big, full bag of jewels. You know who you are accusing, said the other guard. Mr. Trey is one of the most noble men in all of Gaiu. Oh, great, said Zach. Give him back his money you took, said the other guard, and you can leave. No, shouted the man with the fancy tunic. Arrest them. The guards did as Mr. Trey told them, since he owned the place and moved closer to Zach and Ryan. Zach did not like this, so he pulled the blade away from Mr. Trey's neck, but hit him in the back of his head with the hilt, knocking him out. The 2 guards jumped them and grabbed Ryan and Zach, causing him to drop the sword. They twisted their arms behind their backs. A tall figure walked by, stopped, then walked back to see what was going on. He walked into the room upon seeing what was happening. What's going on? Asked Alkline, stepping into the room. These 2 tried to rob Mr. Trey of some money, said one of the guards, holding up the pouch of jewels. Actually, said Alkline, he tried to rob them, since that money pouch is mine. My name should be on the side. The guard glanced at the bag, turned it around, and found the name Alkline Drake was on the bag. I see it is, said the guard. Mr. Trey, would you like to explain this? I was just trying to get the money back, said Mr. Trey. I saw them steal it from him. That is not what you said, said the other guard. You just said it was yours. And don't even say you didn't know, Alkline, because he's been coming here longer than I have. Okay, said Mr. Trey. I tried to take it from them since they was just kids. Who knew they would cause me so much trouble? Mr. Trey, said the other guard as he handed the bag to Alkline. You are going to be coming with us. Attempted robbery is not tolerated, and I am afraid that you will have to close this bathhouse down until you get out. No need, said Alkline. I think a deal can be made. I will not press charges if he signs over this place to me. What? Shouted Mr. Trey. You've got to be out of your mind. I'll be out of jail in just a month and back in business the next day. Well, said Alkline, sure, with this one charge, but I do believe there are hundreds of other complaints against you that were dismissed because of your reputation and buying off guards. I'm sure they'll be looking into them. I'll be making sure they do, and that should be enough to put you in jail for at least 40 years. However, if I don't press charges, the process does not have to start. Mr. Trey did not respond for a few minutes. He was thinking it over. It was not long before his eyes widened, and he realized Alkline was right. Fine, said Mr. Trey. I'll get the deed. It's in the vault in the bank, which is closed. That's okay, said Alkline. I know Jay Uwe, who owns the bank. I know she'll be more than willing to open it up for you to get it. Guards, please escort him to Jue's house and tell her it's for me. And if she needs any confirmation, I am staying at the High Tower Inn. You can drop the deed off once you get it. And don't worry, Mr. Trey, you'll still have a job, just supervised by my new guards. Hey, would you like to work for me? What? Said the two guards. Yeah, said Alkline. I'll pay you double what you're making now. Sure, said the guards. Great, said Alkline. You start tomorrow, and your job is to keep an eye on him. Yes, sir, said the guards. The two guards escorted Mr. Trey over to the door, and they disappeared down the hall. Alkline walked over to Ryan and Zach, who were shocked by what just went down. What? No apology? Said Zach, angry. They found out that we were telling the truth, and they didn't even say they were sorry. That's typical, said Alkline. So, did you enjoy your bath? Yeah, said Ryan. Well, until we were accused of being thieves. Thanks for helping us out. Yeah, I guess, said Zach. What are you going to do with a bathhouse? Mr. Trey stole the place from a friend of mine by cheating in a card game, said Alkline. He eventually admitted to cheating in the game, but never returned the deed, saying it had been in his family's possession for decades. Until then, no one knew who owned the bathhouse, so I'll be giving it back to him. Oh, said Ryan. That's good. We should all be getting back to the inn, said Alkline. We have a long journey tomorrow.
Okay, Adam. Thoughts? Initial thoughts. Thoughts.
The bathhouse. I'm glad the boys cleaned up.
They no longer stinky.
It's a slice of life episode, basically, where it's just like, hey, go do this. And, you're like, all right, we need to clean up before we eat. Yeah.
No, after
we eat.
No, we've said in the last episode that
it should have been before.
Yeah, like the waitress there should have been like, you guys stink. Bathhouse, then you come back.
Okay.
But yeah. But what are your thoughts of it?
First of all, man with the fancy tunic.
I know.
The creep.
But you get his name at the end by the end?
Yeah.
Trey or something?
I don't remember.
Tree without the extra two E's or something like that? I can't remember. I think it's TRE.
Mr. Trey.
Mr. Trey.
I still did TRE. Trey.
But yeah, the man with the fancy tunic.
Who just immediately was a creepy old man. It's like, yes, you come over here, you muscly boys.
Wow. Is that
That's...
I haven't heard this.
Oh, that's even better. I love the fact that I am recording the chapters away from you. So you don't get to hear the voices until you go to do the edit.
Yeah.
Which is great.
But yeah, it's one of those things where it was an interesting slice of life. I think part of this was to get a little bit more of the picture of the world originally.
How the world works.
Yeah.
And of course, how the monetary system works.
Partly from the monetary system works, at least for this realm, because each realm has their own currency, I showed you that in the
Oh yes, yes, I saw that.
but also I think it was more of a just kind of show that just a piece of the world. Try to for there, but I did learn something here, Adam.
Oh, you did.
I learned something about something I wrote here.
What?
I never knew shouting prevented people from relaxing. Never knew that.
Really? You didn't know that?
I did not know that.
Wow.
But I wrote that, and then I learned that. Yeah, when I wrote that was the first note I put on this. I was like, "Yep, that's going down there."
There's.
I mean, I get the point, like what he's saying, and it's true. But the way it comes off, it's written to me. It's like, duh.
Exactly.
It doesn't necessarily need explanation. But again, it's a YA, so it kind of everything needs an explanation.
Yeah, there's a lot of explanations.
Yes, which is very on trope for YA. At the time I wrote this,
But I mean, it's
and
cool.
still kind of fits YA a little bit today.
You know, the boys get their.
But also, there's a lot of head hopping between Zack and the man with the fancy tunic.
I mean, whatever on that.
But
It works. I just love the fact that they get done with their. You know, Ryan, of course, proceeds to give words of wisdom.
we'll get there.
Okay.
Let's go. Okay, we got our initial thoughts here, but let's just walk through the story. Okay, they arrive at the bathhouse moments after leaving the restaurant because it's not that far away.
Exactly. Down the road.
Yep, just down the road. They get there. The man with the fanny tunic does not think they're worthy of a private bath or be able to afford it.
Look at them.
Well, yeah.
Seriously,
No, I
they're
understand.
dirty.
But then you get when he charges them up front because he's like, no, you're not going to be able to afford that. I want you paying me now. And
Well, yeah.
then sees all the money. And you're just like, I can't remember the way I wrote it. It's written like, yep, he's a scumbag.
Yeah.
And I can't remember there was a specific reason why.
Zack is told in the previous chapter, there's no such thing as tipping
No.
in our culture, and proceeds to tip people.
Yep. I think part of the reason I wrote that made him a scumbag was that I think at the time I was also trying to show that the rebel group, the Sentinels that Ackland's a part of, were also the good peacekeeper, the good law enforcement here.
Okay.
In ways. But they couldn't do it through legal methods. They have to do it through different methods. Something like that, I think. But because remember, this is a draft when I was writing when I was still very much into my Christian beliefs, and I was trying to show the good guys being, like what Christians should be like. Sure, yeah, this is what you should be like. Anyway, but we get there. We eventually, after they pay the 4 quid, quiv.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
They get their baths, and of course, because at the time
4 Aeon.
Aeon, 4. That's right, 4 Aeon.
So 8 altogether.
No, 4 for both, because they make that mistake. They think it's 8 per person, and the man with the fancy.
Oh yeah,
he
he corrects them, and it's 4 for both of you.
Yes. But the whole thing about the private separate tubs, very much from my viewpoint at the point and trying not to be gay.
Yeah, otherwise they'd have to be 10 feet apart in the hot tub.
Naked.
Yeah.
Can't have that. That's gay.
Just
apparently.
2 straight men sitting in a hot tub, 10 feet
not
apart.
Men. Not men. They're teenagers.
Oh yeah, but
I know. But like
no.
So I had so that very much the my homophobia throwing in there. But I mean, at the same time, there's even if you're not at that age, it's just weird.
I mean, it's their own tub. I
know.
don't predict it to be much bigger than one person sitting in there.
No, this is like okay. This brings to the inspiration for this. I was gonna wait for a moment, but the whole design of the bathhouse and the way it works is literally ripped from Spirited Away.
Yeah, those weren't very big.
No, this is like the giant circle with multiple tubs, Like you have.
Yeah,
like
that's
you-
too big.
I described it as if there's seats in there, so multiple people could be in each one.
Oh, okay. Well, I just see a
One of our tubs.
a
No.
normal tub with 2 benches on either end.
Nope, because it's like a circle, and they fill lots of waste of water.
Yeah, that's too much water.
It's more like almost like a swimming pool, in a sense. I was picturing, up above ground swimming pool.
Okay.
But so they get there, they switch out, figure out how it works by are told how it works. They do it, they start to fill up, and of course they have to figure out how to stop the water because it's going to overflow. They don't want it to overflow.
Yeah. That's a mess on the floor.
Yeah, they don't want to be messy or anything. So they start pulling the strings again for it to stop. Yeah, because that's logic. It's just.
It's the only thing to do.
But, or just trust that there's enough hot water up there.
You don't know that.
I know, but it's logic. Not Zach logic, but it's logic. And we do have maybe a Zach logic in this chapter, or maybe it's in the last chapter, the next chapter. I can't remember. I think it's
I
the
don't
next
know.
I think it's in chapter 14. I was thinking of now. But we get there, they get their bathtub, and once they're in there, the hot water, they have pearls of wisdom from Ryan. But before we get there, trying to figure out exactly what's going on. What they're going to tell their parents.
Yeah. Hey, what are we going to tell our parents? And Ryan's like, maybe I'll just leave out going to another world.
Yep.
Violet was kidnapped, so it's possible to say we were all kidnapped.
My whole thing is right there for this bullet is the answer to their problem of what they tell their parents is obvious. And there's a side note here. I'll get you in a second. I mean, it's obvious. Your best friend was kidnapped.
Yeah.
Your parents knew you were going there. Well, at least
You all got kidnapped.
His parents knew you were going there. Zach's mom knew he was going there. Ryan's parents know that Zach came over there afterwards. So then when it was going back to Ryan, just in case, well, potentially, we don't know. We don't actually know if his parents was in earshot.
Yeah, we don't. Probably not.
But it's obvious.
Yeah.
But the interesting note was, originally when I was developing this story, I tried to pull the Narnia.
They went through a doorway.
No.
No.
The time is different. Time passes faster in Narnia. So when you come back, it's like you just left.
Oh,
no
okay.
time real passed on Earth.
I mean, that could work.
I tried to make it work, but every time I did that originally, it didn't work with me because I couldn't explain why thousands of years didn't pass by the time the next year when he went back. And I tried to explain it by once the portal was opened up to it synced the worlds or something like that. I can never get it to work.
Okay.
So this is why in this draft I think it became more of about trying to figure that out for them than it necessarily needed to be. But that right there. But yeah, then again once we get some Ryan, the moral compass, laying down truth bombs to Zach.
Oh yeah.
But it was also really me just laying down my Christian beliefs that children need to respect their parents. So regardless of what they believe, they need to respect their parents.
Yeah.
What's coming
Respect
there.
your parents.
And that's what Ryan and Violet really were in this first book, and I think partly in the second book. Before I rewrote them again, and then again, and again. Never making up my mind between first person or third person. But we get that thing, and then we get more hot water because they got 2 hours. They paid for 2 hours.
2 hours.
And then Ryan's saying, "Tit, why are you wasting so much water?" It's like, we paid for 2 hours, Ryan.
I'm not sitting in cold water.
No. Oh, right. Standing underneath it and pour on him and it's shattering everywhere.
Oh,
Scattering
it's so
everywhere.
good.
And then saying how the drain is underneath the tub. It's lifted up and it goes underneath it to drain. Which was kind of cool. Where am I on my notes?
Oh, You forgot where you were?
No, I was just looking at where in my notes it was. But then we get to after the bath, Fancy Tunic returns
Tries to rip them off.
and tries to get more money out of them,
Of course.
and they're not having it. And then he's like, you know what? Screw this. I want that bag of money.
No. It really is. Give me the money that I am telling you that you owe me.
But then he
And
wants,
then Zach's just like, Zach logic time. Hey, if you can beat me in a sword fight, I'll pay you.
no.
That is literally what the line says.
Well, no. Yeah, he said I'll give you, but he does say, you know what? Screw that. He doesn't want just the extra 4.
Oh, yeah, no,
He wants
does.
the
He
pouch.
wants the pouch, okay.
He wants that pouch. He wants all that money. And then Zach does you can beat me in a sword fight. And he's definitely not wrong that he does definitely size up the man with the fancy tunic. Because while Zach may not be able to fight, it's not hard for 2 people to defeat him.
It really is not like...
But Adam, I just want to point out, wow, fancy man in the fancy man in the tunic, a thief. Who saw that coming?
Yeah.
And I did like this: is Zach and Ryan work well to defeat a not skilled swordsman 2-on-1. And actually, when I read through that, I actually did like it was an interesting way to get around this. 2 people who do not have sword skills and don't have a weapon
Yeah.
taking on, and it being obvious that the man in the fancy tunic isn't skilled, but believing he can take on them. So, also, I have a question. What was Zach's plan of escape once the soldiers came in and knocked out the man in the fancy tunic?
Well, they didn't knock him out.
And once he was in the tub, when they tried to rub, he knocks him out. And he tries to run, and then the soldiers grab him. This is after the soldiers have come in and...
Nope.
Yep.
Nope. Fancy tunic falls in tub. Zach runs over and picks up sword. As man stood up in tub, he only had the sword pointing at his neck. Moment door opened and walked a girl with 2 guards. The guards walk right into the room
I know.
as he's like
I know.
pointing.
I know.
And then Alkaline shows up.
No, because before they get grabbed by the soldiers, before Alkin shows up, they knocked out the man in the fancy tunic.
Nope. He tells them to arrest them.
Yes. Then he gets knocked out because Zach is...
That is not what happens in this book.
I read it last night. I know I read that.
Oh yeah, knock. Oh, geez.
Told ya.
Yeah, that you assaulted somebody, Zach.
Knocks him out. Look, that's my point. What was your plan, Zach? You knock him out, but you have 2
No, that was just
trained
a
guards.
shut the fuck up.
I know. But then they
Smack him.
And then he apparently wasn't knocked out for very long because he's able to respond to Alkaline and everything. But again, what was your plan, Zach? What was your plan? Yeah, I do have to admit, I didn't see that as Zach logic about challenging him to a sword fight. That's definitely Zach logic, the Zach logic in this moment. Very much.
I'm gonna sword fight you.
Without
Why can't I summon the sword again?
Well, he doesn't even try. He does say, if I could summon this, then I could fight it. But he doesn't even just say he tries.
Nope.
He says, if I could. But then, yes, we get...
Alkaline then gets Trey to just sign the building over to him.
because he's being robbed, and he's like... But his threat is an interesting one, though. Yeah, so I won't charge... You can go that. You make 6 months? Okay. But I know there's a lot of allegations against you that you use bribes and influence to get rid of. I'll make sure they come back, and you'll be lucky to get out within 40 years.
Yeah.
Based on by the Earth standards, this is a misdemeanor for about 6 to a year in jail time.
Yeah, you are
So you're about 40 years or to 50 of
for attempted
allegation.
robbery.
For allegations of
Allegations.
to get that 40 years. Because when I first read, I'm like, that's gonna be a lot. I think it was gonna be a little bit less time, than 6 months to a year for this.
I mean, Alcline's just like, hey, sign this business over to me right now.
And
Guards, take him down to the bank, to the banker,
Yep.
and have him sign the information tonight.
and have him. And
I'll be at the inn.
oh, by the way, I'm not gonna fire him though. I'm gonna make sure he can still keep his job under close supervision by my guards. Hey, you two want to come work for me? I'll pay you double what you're making.
All right.
Sure. And then Alclin saying he's gonna to explain that his friend was the original owner, but he was in the shadows and lost it into a poker game because he cheated.
Yeah.
And everything. He was able to scam it. Yeah, again, just another way of trying to show that I believe that Mindframe, that the Sentinels are here to right the wrongs that the corruptness of the lords have allowed.
Alcline's like, yeah, now I'm just going to give it back to my friend who got ripped off in a poker game.
Yep.
And that's how the chapter ends.
Well, they do go back to the inn to get some sleep.
No. We should be getting back to the inn. They don't do that.
Yeah, that means we're going back to the inn. So they go back to the inn. It just happens off page.
They just go, all right.
Well, it's a better ending than the next chapter. The next chapter just ends.
Yep.
Just, yeah. But overall thoughts? Again,
it's a good chapter to have in there. I'd have a little bit more of the back and forth between Ryan and Zach. Ryan just dropping nuggets of wisdom.
Oh, I have a reason. I'm saving my comments based on that, because I think you're right.
Yes.
For the next chapter.
Oh, okay.
There's something in there that I will address it there.
And then,
but like in the future versions, this this scene always makes it into the rewrite.
oh yeah,
It's in Clock of Ages.
It's
more of a fight scene played out versus just some telling of some swipes and then they defeat him.
yeah.
I do think they still defeat him the same way.
Trip him into the tub.
But I can't
Pour the water on him.
I can't remember. But there's more of an action sequence here that we get to see. And I think that we know his name from the beginning. He's no longer called the man of the fancy
He's
tunic.
not man in the fancy tunic.
I think that's how he's described it first, but he explains his name. He gives his name afterwards. I can't remember.
Oh, okay, good.
But yeah, it's a good one. I think it could have been shorter.
Yeah, probably.
Okay, so how would you go about? Let's move on to the part where we improve the chapter.
Okay, for me, it would be a lot more between Zach and Ryan.
Yep.
Through the bath, and then I would shorten up the alkaline ex machina showing up and being like, "I will take over here," ha ha ha, and the town guards being like, "Yeah, definitely, random dude."
Well, they clearly know who he is.
Yeah, but it should have been like if they saw him and immediately did, their salute or whatever. Yeah. Sir, immediately recognized him as being their an authority over them.
He's not.
Or that he is so respect. Yeah. Well, I mean, if Alkaline is a higher ranking member of the Resistance.
The guards aren't members of the Resistance, though.
Oh, well, then they shouldn't even freaking recognize him as being anything.
Well, obviously.
They should just be like, and who are you?
I think what I eventually make it be is more of an Alkalin's persona he portrays there when he's there is well respected. Not they don't know he's part of the rebellion or they would arrest him. That's what I think I was going for. I cannot tell you for this book.
Yeah.
It was just more about he isn't well known and respected, but it's obviously they don't know he's part of the rebellion.
Okay. I would have been. The guards here are for the rebellion. They're like, haha.
It would make sense, basically, especially where we go in the next location, being very loyal to the lords. Or it's more secretive. This town is more for the rebellion.
Yes.
Behind the scenes, everyone knows. Basically, everyone who lives there knows they want the the seven lords to be overthrown. Everyone knows. Even the people loyal and work for them know. And some of them are loyal and others are not, but they don't do anything about it because that would be basically wiping out a town that's important to...
Yeah, they're like, if we openly went with the rebels, we're going to get wiped out. So we can't be open about it.
But if we take out the people who want this, there's going to be nothing left of the town.
Yeah.
So, it's kind of a stalemate based on...
It's kind of one of those that it's like, hey, we would love to be with that side, but we're stuck in their territory.
Yeah.
When you guys liberate us, we'll be happy.
If you call upon us, we'll fight for you.
But we're not.
Or if you need help, we'll help you.
But we're underground right now.
My biggest thing is tighten up the bath scene a little bit. Yes, have more of a dialogue here between Zach and Ryan.
Yeah.
There's a reason why there isn't, which I said I'll save for the next chapter.
They're chilling out, and they're two dudes chilling out in tubs.
But really just tighten things up.
Yeah.
To the point where when I say shorten it, it's either shorten it enough to fit in the last chapter,
Okay.
or you just enough where it can still be its own chapter. The start of the next chapter leading into, and chapter 14 is part of this chapter, which is long enough as it is.
Yeah.
Which means that would be a lot more fixed. And trust me, when we get there, I have notes on fixing that one.
I know.
But yeah, it's more just tightening it up, making it more clear, getting more of descriptions. Because this is probably one of the more detailed descriptions of the layout than other scenes. And it's one of the few scenes that when I rewrite it gets more and more vivid in my descriptions.
Okay.
I know what it looked like. Where other ones, I'm kind of scraping the barrel as I'm writing it, like, oh yeah, I forgot to just figure this out. Now I gotta figure this out. And and if I give a description or a layout of it, it's bare, and you can kind of tell.
Yeah.
But it's also the first time I wrote this book. As you rewrite it more and more, you get through it, and you don't have to think about the actions as much. You can just start thinking about the scenery and things. Even if it's rewriting the entire book again as a first draft from first person, and then rewriting it again as a first draft and back to third person.
Oh.
I did that multiple times.
Why?
I could not make up my mind if I wanted it first person or third person.
Ew.
I eventually did settle on third person.
Much better. Much better.
But yeah, I did that multiple times. So, but yeah, just finding out where it best fits. I think the way this one is, it needs to be part of a different chapter, either the end of the last one or the start of the next one. They're all linked together. And because part of that conversation you could add is, where are we going from here? We don't know where we're going. And instead of Zach questioning Alkaline for the 20 billionth time since they've gotten there,
Yeah.
Ryan's questioning it. Or Zach is like, I agree with you, but it pains him to believe that he knows what he's doing
Right.
when he's not telling them. Which we'll get to. I have a big thing about Alkaline ripping into them, something he did not tell them.
Yeah. Yeah, I know.
But stuff like that. But tighten things up. That's my main thing here, and just figuring out what chapter would be better part of. I lean more towards the next chapter. Again, this really should have been. Actually, it probably should be better with the previous chapter.
Yes.
Because you can have them be sent to get the baths to clean up, and then go to get eat.
Yep.
But then the ending of this chapter doesn't work.
No, it still
much.
does.
You have to rework how the last chapter works then.
Yes.
Alkaline joins them for dinner then.
No, he could even just be like, I was passing by.
No, he was getting his own bath.
He's like, I'm getting my own bath now.
I just didn't want to be around you stinky boys.
I had other things to do. There's still more other things to do.
Anything else you want to add to this chapter about this book?
No, not
this
right
book.
now.
This chapter. No.
No.
All right. What are your thoughts about this chapter? Do you agree that it should be part one of the last chapter we worked, or maybe the start of the next chapter, even though you have no clue what that is. Let us know down in the comment section. Since you made it here, we're assuming you did enjoy it, so we would love it if you'd go on and smash that like button and do it as a prayer to the holy algorithm.
The holy algorithm.
And subscribe because I got running content on this channel. My content best for you will be on screen now. Pick something there. Maybe you're looking to watch some terrible gameplay. Adam, pitch your channel.
Oh, yeah. Pop over to ZOP Gaming. See a bunch of friends hanging out, playing video games, having a good time. That's what we're here for.
How are they going to see you guys play video games?
Well, they don't. They watch
Exactly.
us watch the game. We give commentary.
Exactly.
It's a thing.
Yeah, so check that out. Do one of those things. Pick something, and we'll see you there. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.